'Twas the coldest night that Michigan had ever seen. Matthew Muselberry and his little sister Melinda Muselberry sat huddled around their tiny stove. Their father, Michael Muselberry, had left earlier that morning in response to the distress signal sent from the village chapel. People feared that once again the Zack was on the loose.
"Matthew Muselberry, are you watching that stew?"
asked Miriam Muselberry.
"We don't want your father coming home to burned carrots."
Later that night, the snow kept piling up higher and higher, and still no sign of Father Muselberry. Miriam had tucked Matthew and Melinda in bed, and she herself had fallen asleep on a chair at the window. Matthew had heard many stories about this strange Zack, a creature that only came out at night and only during the worst snowstorms. People said that the Zack would rip your arms off if he caught you snooping around his nest. With Sister Melinda sleeping cozily next to him, and Mother Miriam slouched over her chair in the window, Matthew slipped on his fur coat and set out into the night to look for his father. Matthew didn't waste any time walking around town, for he knew where to look. Across the frozen lake, there was a tiny forest. He'd seen the Zack there before, scratching his gangly hair. The townspeople were terrified of the tall, shaggy Zack, who, from time to time, would approach the town yelling in a strange tongue. Matthew approached the Zack's cabin, which had smoke coming from its chimney. Oh no! He could hear the terrible cackle of the Zack. He burst through the door, and what did he see? His father, eating bread and jam, saying to the Zack, "If only I could understand you, I would help you out." "Father," yelled young Michael, "you're okay." His eyes opened wide as he saw the Zack for the first time up close. Matthew's gut feeling was correct. The Zack was a kind beast. "I think I might know what will soothe this scalawag and bring joy to his heart." And with that, Matthew pulled out a mother-of-pearl comb and proceeded to brush through the Zack's long black hair. Michael beamed with pride as he watched his son comb the purring Zack. It took all morning to comb through the Zack's massive locks, and when they were finally done, they marched straight into town. "Everyone, please come and meet the newest member of our town." Matthew, his father, and the Zack stood in the town square as people slowly came out into the morning sun. And ever since then, the Zack was accepted in the town, which now had a new lanky baker.